Okay, welcome back, folks. This is a small test. Test number one. We're looking at revision work on negative numbers, factorizing, forming and solving equations, and some trigonometry plus a bit of Pythagoras. So this is one of the homeworks. Give it to one of my students. So let's have a look how we would answer these questions. Right, without any further delay, so we have minus 3 plus 17. So we just think of that as plus 17. Take away 3. So plus 17 take away 3 will give you plus 14. Now that pen looks too thin. Okay, that one's done. Lovely. The next one we have minus 25 divided by 5. If the signs are different, one's the minus, one's the positive. So the answer will always be minus. 25 divided by 5, that will give us the 5. Next, when we have two minuses together, they transform, like the Transformers movie, into a plus. So we have minus 11 plus 11, that gives us nothing. Now this is plus, this is a minus. When the signs are different and we are multiplying, they stay as a minus. So 4 times by 9 will give us 36. So the answer for that one is minus 36. Lovely. These next two signs, we have minus 60 divided by minus 5. The signs are the same. When we're dividing, the signs are the same. The answer becomes a positive. So you have 60 divided by 5, that will give us 12. Okay. Let's move on. So factorize. Now this one here requires us to factorize by common factors. So 8ab plus 4a squared b squared. So we have a 4 here and a 4 inside here. So the 4 is common. We have an a here and an a inside here. Oops. No, I don't want to do that. Okay, an a inside here. So another a. There's a b here and there's a b inside here. Let's get hold of my rubber. Let's get rid of these extra lines here now. Don't need them anymore. So we have decided that we're going to pull out a 4ab. So if I do a 4ab here, I have to multiply it by 2 to get my 8ab. Plus, if I start with the 4ab, I'm going to have to multiply it by ab to get our 4a squared b squared. Now, what do we do next? We change color. We grab the 4ab. Grab the 4ab, that comes outside. And we're left with inside is a 2. And a plus sign stays there. And the ab, which is over here. Sorry, it's getting a bit tight there. Okay. So the answer I'm right over here again for you over here. So it's more clear. 4ab brackets 2 plus ab. Now, you know you finished the question when you can't refactorize this. If you can factorize this again, then you haven't factorized properly and fully. And you know you factorize properly as well when you can multiply that, you get back to the original. So you have 4ab times by 2 will give you 8ab. And 4ab times by ab will give you 4a squared b squared. Okay, that's our answer. Now, next question. Right, let's choose a different color. Let's go for green. You're looking for two numbers. Multiply to give us plus 12, and when you add them up give you minus 8. So oops, so that's possible that. So you put x starting here. So we can start with minus 6 and minus 2. Minus 6 times by minus 2 gives you plus 12, and when you add them up gives you minus 8. We haven't finished yet because we have to solve it. When we solve it, we have to do the opposite of what's in the brackets to make the brackets equal to 0. Opposite of minus 6 is, will give you plus 6. Opposite of minus 2 here will give us plus 2. And that's the end of question number 7. Okay. Now, question number 8. We have x squared minus x minus 20. Now remember this. Next to the minus x, there's not a missing number. So just because there's no number there, it's actually by default of 1. So we're looking for two numbers at a time to give you minus 20. But when you add those two numbers up, they will give you an answer of minus 1. So if you try minus 5 and plus 4, that will suit our requirements. Now to finish it off, I need to solve it. And to solve it, I must make each bracket equal to 0. To make this bracket 0, x needs to be equal to plus 5. To make this bracket equal to 0, x needs to be equal to minus 4. And that's the end of question number 8. Thank you. So question, sorry, number 9 next. 25x squared. This is called the difference of two squares. So that is really, oops. Okay, right. Oh, something's gone wrong here. My pen's not responding. Oh yeah, very nice. So we have, let's try that again. So that gives you 5x whole squared minus 100 is really 10 whole squared. So these are square numbers. And then when we factorize, we copy down the 5x, we copy down the minus 10, we close the bracket, we duplicate the first bracket, but with one difference. After we duplicate the first bracket, the minus is then transformed into a plus. Okay, right. Question number 12. It's getting a little bit tight here. I don't know whether I should call in my little friend the paint program. We can maybe reduce the size of it. And then we can have more space to do some of these questions. Okay, right, here we go. So I'm going to copy the question up here because I'm the question number 12 now. Oh, have I done even number 10? Okay. Right, hang on a second. Have I missed one out or two out? Right, let's have a look. Oh, yes, here we go. So number 10 needs to be done. Let's get our little paint pad. So this is our question here. We're just going to do it over here. So it says solve for x. So in this we have a quadrilateral, and all quadrilaterals, the angles internally add up to 360. So x plus 20. So this angle here, and this angle here, and this angle here, and this angle here must add up to the 360. So we have x plus 30. And then 2x, and this angle here, this square is a 90. So let's put everything in the right place and add them up. So 20 at 30 will give us 50. 50 at 90 will give us 140. 2x at x is 3x, at 1x gives you 4x. And that must all add up to 360. Right, okay. So now we need to work out and solve for x. So where's x? X is here. Oops, I wanted a red. So we want to work out this x here, and we have to get rid of all this stuff. So opposite add 140 is minus 140. So 360 minus 140 will give us 220. Okay, then opposite time by 4. We have to divide by 4. So x is equal to 220 divided by 4. So if you want to do that as a bus stop method, you can. So that's 0, remainder 2, that's 5, remainder 2, and that will give you 5. So the answer is x is equal to 55 degrees, and that's the end of question number 10. So I'm going to blank this page out now, and we're going to move on to question number 11, and we'll need the same space for it. So number 10, we write down x is equal to 55 degrees. Okay, right, now that last number there didn't look too good. Let's write it again so it's more clear for everybody who's watching. Okay, lovely, beautiful. Question number 11 now. Question number 11 is over here. Okay, let's, I want to get hold of it. Okay, give me a second. Okay, so let's grab hold of this question. New. Okay, let's grab hold of this question. And let's grab hold of this. Let's do this. No. Okay. Here's that question there in the corner. So we got loads of space now to do this question. Okay, lovely, beautiful. Let's get cracking. So we got this rectangle here, and we need to work out the value of x. So the area of rectangle length times by width. So the area has already been given to us is 22. So 22 equals the length. The length is here, x plus 3, times by the width, and the width is 4. Now, we have to work out the value of x, which I put in red over here, so you can see it clearly. Now, in order for us to solve for x, we need to get rid of all the extra things. We need to get rid of the plus 3 and the time by 4. So this is the first thing being done to the x. This is the second. So we always move the second thing first. So opposite timesing by 4 is going to be dividing by 4. So 22 divided by 4 will give us 5.5. So we're left now with x plus 3. Now I got to work out the x. I got a plus 3 extra, so opposite add 3 will give us minus 3. So 5.5 minus 3 will give us 2.5. So the answer to question number 11, so this is question number 11, is 2.5. Okay, so this is an example of forming equations that comes in the foundation paper and also sometimes in the high paper as well. Right, so we've done that. That's lovely. So file new for the next question. No, we don't save that. Okay, let's get that down. Okay. So next question is question number 12 on the bottom over here. Right. We have 66 equals 6 times by 6x minus 7. Let's get our paint up here. Let's make it smaller a bit. Okay, let's write it in there. 66 equals 6 times by 6x minus 7. So if you want to work out the value of x, we have a 3-step linear equation. So this is my first step, my first action, second action, and there's my third action. You have to be able to identify your actions first in order for you to undo the question. So if you know what's happened first, second, third, then you can start the third, second, first, and reverse it. So when we're solving, we go in reverse order. We always start the last action first. So opposite time by 6 is divide by 6. So 11 is equal to, now the brackets have disappeared, or okay, because the multiply by 6 was holding all together. Now, next, let's move the second action next. We're going backwards, third, second, first. Opposite of minus 7 will give us plus 7. So 18 is equal to 6x. And then opposite of time by 6 will give us divide by 6. So one by one we are undoing the equation and reversing everything. And that will give us an x value of 3 for question number 12. So x is equal to 3. Okay, now here comes the next question. Okay, right. We have question number, is it question number 13? We have 5 bracket 2x minus 3 equals 8x plus 1. Now we need to work out the value of x. Now if you look at this particular question, we have not just one x, we have two lots of x. We need to get the x's together on one side, have a little bit of a family reunion. So let's first of all multiply the brackets. So we have here now 10x minus 15 equals 8x plus 1. So we always start at the smaller x value and get it towards the bigger one. And since the x's are moving left, they're migrating left, the numbers have to migrate to the right. So we have nice happy families. So we have the x's on the left hand side all together, being all friendly, and we have the numbers on the right hand side, and they're also catching up and seeing what they've been doing in the holidays. So you have 10x minus 8x, that'll give you 2x. So you have 1 at 15, that'll give you 16. So we've got one final step to do before we get to answer. Let's get rid of the multiply by 2. Opposite time by 2 would be divide by 2. So x has a lovely value of 8, and question number 13 is done. That one's in the bag. Okay, lovely. Let's get back to our questions now. Hopefully the next question we should be able to do them on the page itself. We should have enough room. Maybe we can go to a one-page view and we can go down the page. And we can maybe expand this page a bit and make it look more easy for us to use. Okay, no, we don't want on that page there. That one. Okay, that's lovely. That looks good. Now, in this particular question, the revision idea here is trigonometry, Sokotowa. The first thing that we need to do, we need to label the diagram. We start at the angle here. So we have 40 degrees here. Code. Okay. We start at the angle, and opposite the angle is called the opposite. Opposite the right angle is the hypotenuse, and the leftover side is the adjacent. Now in this particular question, we have to see what is the question talking about. If the question is about the hypotenuse and the opposite that we need to work out, because connecting the opposite and the hypotenuse makes an O sound, and so that will be our saw. So we need to draw our triangle Okay, so we have SOH. Now, as I said before, we need to cover up the thing that we want to work out opposite with our finger. So opposite, we cover it with our finger here. So the opposite is equal to the sine of the angle. Oops. Sine of the angle times by the h. Okay, before I do that, let's get rid of that. It looks a bit messy. Sine of the angle times by h. Okay, so we have here our calculator. So we have sine of our angle. So what's our sine angle? What's our angle? 40? Okay, sine of 40 times by 10. So we grab our calculator and we type that in. Sine 40 times by 10 equals, so that gives 6.42787. So to one decimal place, that will be 6.4. Okay, so we can say opposite, which is the x, is equal to 6.4 centimeters to one decimal place. Okay. Question number 15. We've got to work out the value of y. This question involves Pythagoras theorem. That's always the a, the hypotenuse, and b and c can be written in any order. So a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared. So y squared is equal to 12 squared plus 3 squared. So I don't want to work out y squared, I want to work out y. So the y, take the squared over, becomes a square root. So you've got to type that into your calculator. So we grab our calculator, we press the square root button, we type in 12 squared. Whoops, that doesn't look like 12 to me. Okay, 12 squared, and then we add to that 3 squared. Whoops. Okay, 3 squared, done. And that gives us that. So we have y is equal to 12.4. Okay. Last two questions. I'm going to do number 17 first. That's also Pythagoras. So opposite the right angle is always the hypotenuse a, and b and c can be given in any order. So we say a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared. Our a is 19 squared. Our b is the alpha squared, is the Greek symbol, plus c, which is 17 squared. Now, because we want to work out the alpha symbol in this particular question, we need to solve for alpha. So we need to get rid of the plus 17 squared. So it becomes 19 squared minus 17 squared equals the alpha squared. Now I need to move the squared over. Okay. It becomes the square root on that side. So we're going to have 19 squared minus 17 squared. So we have a minus inside the square root, and that will give us the side that we need. So we grab our calculator, we press the square root button, we press 19 squared minus the 17 squared, and that gives us 6 root 2, which gives us 8.485. If you round up to one decimal place, gives you 8.5. 8.5 centimeters, and that is 1 dp. So that's another Pythagoras theorem question. Let's go back up to our last question before we finish this video. Okay, so this next question here, we got to work out the angle. Okay, don't mix it up with angle, that's something quite different. So this is our angle here. We've got to work out this angle. Okay, angle Z. Opposite the angle is called the opposite. Opposite the right angle is called the hypotenuse, and the leftover side is poor adjacent. He's the one that was always left to the last. Okay, now let's have a look what we have. So our question is between the adjacent that we know and the hypotenuse that we know and the angle we want to work out. So A and H, that gives us an A sound. A comes from cows, cat. So we need to draw a little triangle. So it's cos of the angle, and you have A on the top and H on the bottom, times. We need to get our finger and cover up what we want to work out. So I want to work out the angle's over here. Cover that with your finger. So we say now the cos of the angle is equal to the A over H. Now, in reality, I don't want to work out cos of the angle. I want to work out just the angle itself, just the angle. So we need to remove the cos, take it to the other side. So the angle, when you take the cos to the side, it becomes inverse cos, or cos to the minus 1. So the angle actually here is really Z. So it's cos to the minus 1 of the adjacent, which is 7, divided by the 12, which is the hypotenuse. We grab our calculator, we type in, press shift, cos, press the fraction button, 7 on top, replay, 12 on the bottom, replay again, that gives us, close the bracket, and that gives us an answer of 54.3146659, which is the same as 54.3 to 1 decimal place. So Z, okay, let's get a different color. So Z is equal to 50, okay, that 50 doesn't look very nice. Z equals 54 point, and I forgot the rest of the answer, 54.3 degrees to 1 decimal place. And that's the end of our video. Thank you very much.